Hello everyone, Absent Friend here, and today we are going to... I'm trying to shoot a video!
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Ah! Don't be sorry, be quiet.
I'm sorry.
You know, I've just about had it with all these so-called superheroes, so I've decided to team up with the technological genius, but very vindictive, Syndrome.
And just when all hope is lost, Syndrome will save the day!
In this video, we will be looking at all the cards in Syndrome's deck with a few tips on how to play them, or not play them as the case may be. We will also be looking at Syndrome's Fate deck for anyone who may want some tips and tricks on how to effectively keep him from winning the game. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell to be alerted when new episodes are available. To win as Syndrome, he must defeat Omnidroid VX10 and have no heroes in his realm. Okay, interesting, yet not so. Well, we've got a lot to cover in this guide, so get comfortable, here we go. First up, Syndrome's allies. He has a total of 9. 3 guards, 3 Velocipod patrol, 2 security, and 1 mirage. Let's start with guards. These lowlifes cost 2 power to play and have a strength of 1. They do gain +1 strength for every other ally in their location, but don't fall for that. These guys are garbage, so just discard them and get to the better cards like these. Velocipod Patrol. These Y attackers cost 2 power to play, but they have a strength of 3. These guys are much better cards and should be played to the middle 2 locations for maximum range. Next, Security!
No, security! Security!
For only the cost of 1 power, Syndrome gets a 2 strength ally. Not bad, but not worth playing until the end game. And finally, Mirage. She costs 3 power to play and has a strength of 2. She also has the ability to let Syndrome reveal cards from his Fate deck until a hero is revealed. He will then play that hero to her location and of course discard the other Fate cards. Believe it or not, there is a condition card that does the exact same thing, except better. So use that card instead. To sum up the allies, it depends on where Syndrome is in his objective. If it's early in the game, don't play any allies. Save his power and cycle his deck to get his really important items. He has a total of 6 real items. Don't know what I mean? Sit back, all will be revealed. He has 4 major modifications and 2 0-point energy. First up, major modifications. For 1 power, Syndrome can play this item anywhere in his realm. He needs these items to bring forth his more advanced Omnidroids. More about them later. Only bring these out when Syndrome can use them immediately. Don't leave them in the realm too long, or they could be faded away. And his other item, 0-point energy. This laser beam costs 3 power to play, and with it, Syndrome can reduce any hero strength by -2, and that hero cannot move. This could be good for high-powered heroes, but also could just be a waste of power. There are better ways to get rid of bothersome heroes, who never return phone calls, by the way. Syndrome also has some unique item-like cards that are essential for winning the game. Let's check them out. First up, Syndrome's Remote. Remember, this is a remote, not an item, so it is not affected by conditions that require items, nor is it affected by certain Fate cards of doom. It can, however, be moved by the move item/ally action, so there is that. Play this to downtown Metroville as soon as possible. Don't worry about the heroes that can steal it. It can easily be retrieved. Syndrome needs this remote to activate Omnidroids. These tile cards are part of Syndrome's objective, but not part of his villain or fate deck. Similar to the Black Cauldron, these tiles just wait on the side until summoned into the realm. How do they work, you ask? Let's dive in and find out. We'll start with Omnidroid version X8. Syndrome starts the game with his Alphabot at the Nomanison Island location. As soon as possible, use his condition cards to get a hero into play and vanquish them with his 5 strength Omnidroid to knock it out of play. Once this droid is used in a vanquish action, Syndrome must shuffle his discard pile back into his deck. No big whoop. This will pave the way for the next robot, Omnidroid version X9. For the cost of 1 major modification, Syndrome can bring out the 6th strength Beta Bot to any location. As soon as the major modification is played, discard it immediately to bring out Mr. X9. Just like with version X8, find a hero quickly and use this to vanquish them. Once this droid is used up, Syndrome will find his remote and place it in his hand. After the X9 has done its job, then Syndrome can prepare for the final clanker. Omnidroid version X10. This mega robot costs 3 major modifications to play and has a strength of 7. Once Syndrome has the 3 M&Ms in the realm, he may immediately discard them to play this Omnidroid to downtown Metroville. Now here's where things can get a little weird, but there is a simple explanation. Watch this. If Syndrome's remote is not in the realm, or if it's on the bottom of Syndrome's realm, the Omnidroid goes to the top of the board, covering actions. If Syndrome's remote is at the top of the realm, i.e. stolen by a hero, the giant metal ball follows to the remote's location, but at the bottom. Everybody got that? To put it in layman's terms, remote on top, droid on bottom. Remote on bottom, droid on top. When the X10 is on the bottom of the realm, it can vanquish any hero and not be discarded. So use this card to defeat any heroes that are in the way of the objective or have stolen the remote. Once all the heroes have been dealt with, make sure the remote, Syndrome's mover, and the X10 are in the same location and activate the remote to destroy the giant pod with tentacles. It should be noted it is not required to destroy all heroes to destroy the X10, but once the thing is destroyed, it's gone forever and will always rest on top of the board covering actions. If there are any heroes left after destroying the Love Bot, get rid of them quickly to instantly win the game. Syndrome does not have to do any of that start your turn crap. My goodness, that was a lot. And we haven't even got to the effects yet, so let's do it. He has a total of 4. 2 containment unit and 2 identification please. Let's start with identification please. For the cost of 2 power, Syndrome can move any ally or Omnidroid on his side of the realm to any location that has a hero. Sounds like a good idea, but if it can't be used right away, chunk it. And the other effect, containment unit. This effect costs 4 power to play, and with it, Syndrome can reduce the strength of any hero in his realm to 0. Very powerful card, but also kind of pointless. It depends on where Syndrome is in his quest. Best used during the end game, if used at all. Now let's move on to his conditions. Syndrome has the most condition cards of any villainous villain so far. 10. 2 bioprobes, 2 Who's Super Now, 3 Not a Sidekick, and 3 15 years later. Let's start with bioprobes. If another villain defeats a hero during their turn, Syndrome can defeat his own hero of equal or lesser strength. More than likely this card will not be used, so don't hang on to it, but go ahead and use it if the situation presents itself. Next, Who's Super Now? If another villain used a play a card action, Syndrome can gain power equal to the cost of the single card played. Very useful card since all villains will be playing cards throughout the game. Use it at every opportunity. Free power is free power. Next, not a sidekick. If another villain discards any amount of cards from their hand, Syndrome may draw that same amount of cards from his villain deck. Watch opponents carefully to take full advantage of this condition. And his last condition, 15 years later. This is probably the best card in Syndrome's deck. When another villain gains any power during their turn, Syndrome can reveal cards from his Fate deck until a hero is revealed. That hero is immediately played to any location with a -2 strength token. If it's early in the game, use this at every opportunity to get heroes out so the Omnidroids can defeat them. Well, that covers everything on Syndrome's side. Now let's find out how to keep this psychotic fanboy from winning the game. Let's start with those heroes who can steal the remote. First up, Mr. Incredible. He has 6 strength and gains +1 strength for every other hero in his location. He works anywhere in the realm, so get him out and cover actions. Next, Elastigirl. She has 4 strength and may discard any ally in the location she is played to. Obviously, play her to any location with a powerful ally. Next, Violet. She has a strength of 3 and must purge all 0-point energies that are in play. Use her to cover actions and keep that remote away from Syndrome. Next, Dash. This little Flash wannabe has a strength of 2 and can bring any hero in the realm to his location. Pretty good for getting a hero out of harm's way if they are about to be deaded. Next, Frozone. He has 3 strength, and while he is in play, no allies can move from his location. That part isn't very handy, but being able to steal the remote, that's priceless. And the last hero is the only hero who cannot steal the remote, Jack. He only has 1 strength, but when he is played to another hero's location, this little infant gains strength until he is equal to the strongest hero in that location. Since he is a hero, he can still thwart Syndrome's objective, so play him to the location with the strongest hero. Now let's take a look at how to cover actions in Syndrome's realm. First, cover his discard action. Next, cover his gain 2 power action. Then his vanquish action, and finally his fate action. This will also cover several of his play card actions, which will greatly diminish his chances of winning the game. And now for his fate items. He has only 1, but 2 copies. Force Field. This bubble gets attached to any hero, and when Syndrome would defeat that hero, he must defeat the force field first. Any hero could benefit from this item as it would keep them alive longer, but always aim for the hero that has stolen Syndrome's remote. Moving on to his fate effects. He has a total of 7. 2 no capes, 2 teamwork, 1 infiltrate, 1 monologuing, and 1 that was totally wicked. First up, no capes. This effect will be placed under Syndrome's mover, and on his next turn, he will discard the card, but cannot move from his current location and may only take the actions there. This card is great if Syndrome is at a covered location and will not be able to vanquish. So avoid using this if Syndrome is at the Par residence. Next, Teamwork. This effect allows the Fator to play this and the other Fate card drawn as well. So that's awesome. After that, the Fator will look at the top 6 cards in Syndrome's Fate deck, place them in any order, and return them to the top of the Fate deck. While this card will not stop him from winning the game immediately, it will definitely stack the deck against him for the next 3 Fate actions. Next, Infiltrate. When this effect is played, Syndrome must reveal his hand to all players. That's it? What a terrible card. Who would want to play this? Please, let's go to the next effect quickly. I don't want to look at this card anymore. That's better. Monologuing. When the Fator plays this effect, Syndrome must discard 3 cards from his hand. This card is a 50-50 card. If Syndrome hasn't been discarding cards, then play this card since he is probably hoarding cards he needs to win the game. If he's actively cycling his deck, then this card will just help him out. Be careful if choosing this. And finally, that was totally wicked. Probably the best fake card in the deck. This effect forces Syndrome to discard all items and allies in his realm. This includes major modifications. If Syndrome is trying to get the X10 out and has at least one M&M on the board, play this card to force him to have to reshuffle his deck and start over. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone found this video informative and maybe even picked up a few pointers on how to better play Syndrome or play against Syndrome. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Keep watching this channel for more Disney Villainous guides. But before we go, let me know in the comments which Disney villain you think has the best defeat. I'm your absent friend, signing off.